Green Lanterns number 25, Sam Humphries writing, Robson Roca on art. Once again, this returned to the colouring that I really liked from like 4 issues ago, 5 issues ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say I had a problem with it at the time because it was in the middle of an arc and it felt strange. But
Yeah, yeah.
here, where they go into this new location, it's all mysterious, Vault of Shadows. I love it in this issue.
Yeah, I love the art in this issue. I love the colouring especially. I mean, obviously, Robson
Yeah,
Roca's been doing the art in this on and off for a long time, and he's always been dependable, but the colouring just makes it.
it
Oof.
does. And like I said, I think I did have a problem with it before where it was in the story, but here I think it works fantastically.
Yeah, I'm really, really into it. Uh, it's the way it's a bit more muted, which I like. I think Green Lanterns could play not just this book, but just Green Lantern in general could play with different color sort of palettes a little bit more. I mean, I know obviously green's always going to be there, but it doesn't have to always be the exact same shade of bright green. You can
Yeah.
have it be a bit darker. You can have it be a bit more muted. In this case, it's a bit more sort of shaded kind of thing, which I like. It's not, which maybe goes against a little bit the idea that it's been made of light, but honestly, I'm okay. Like I'm okay with that idea.
It does look more like actual fabric, especially where it seems to like crumple around them at times.
Which, as much as that doesn't make sense, I kind of like it looking like that more.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know why. I guess, I mean, it's not to the same extent, but it's kind of like how in the movie it's like, oh, it's all CG, and I'm like, no, I'd rather it was just in a suit, even if it makes sense that it's made of light and it's therefore
Yeah,
kind of fake looking.
yeah. I will say, as much as I love the art in this issue in general, I think there's a few times where the faces are a bit strange.
Yeah, yeah.
There's that bit where Jessica and Simon are sat on the stairs.
And they're reminiscing about all the things they're missing from Earth.
Yeah, Jessica's face, the top left panel of that is just, it looks strange. Just doesn't look right.
Uh, I think it's mostly fine. I think the only problem with it is it looks like she's got like it looks like she's doing this with her tongue. And apologies for the audio listeners, you won't get to see this, but also she's got something in her mouth and she's
Yeah,
holding it in.
yeah,
I can see what you mean there. I like a lot of it though. The fist bump moment's quite good. All the rest of it. I like that they're reminiscing about like because they're not used to being in space for that long. So
yeah.
this is the
So
first time they've been out, and they're kind of looking back on it. Uh, they run into a guardian of this vault of shadows called Tyrionar. If I'm saying that right, it's got an apostrophe
I
R
was
at the end.
saying Tyrana.
Tyrionar. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I can see that. But he actually realizes that Rami is not Rami. He can sort of sense that he's not quite him. But
yeah.
Rami shuts him up quite quickly, or Volthum shuts him up quite quickly, I should say. We get a flashback to him getting his first ring because he's one of the original seven, and we also get a flashback to, I presume, the ring that is now on Jessica's finger. Like,
That was the assumption I made as well.
maybe it's just because the alien looks kind of like Jessica, similar haircut, kind of similar face,
Yeah,
different color, obviously, because she's an alien, but uh, kind of similar character. Uh, with kind of brainiac looking dots actually in her head now. I'm looking at her.
yeah. She's a Kaluan.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get a little bit more on her. Hers is more interesting because the Tyrannor guy, he was just kind of almost been executed and then he escapes and the ring comes. Whereas we get the sense that she's constantly losing jobs. She can't keep a job. She's always having money troubles. And we see that she has some tension with her parents because she thinks her parents are against her being in a gay relationship. But I mean, the mother tries to like say that's not the case at the last second. But I think hers is the most interesting flashback. I mean, I've enjoyed most of them, but they've all up until this point they've all been in like a sort of kind of crisis moment where they're all like fearing for their lives or they're all doing this kind of thing. Whereas with her, it feels like it's not. It's just a slice of life.
Yeah, it's a more personal
Yeah,
sense of like it's all obviously it's still willpower dependent,
yeah, yeah,
obviously, but for her it feels like I know it's a personal bit, which is why I think you're linking it to Jessica as well as
yeah.
this is the female character. It's a similar sort of thing where she's going through a personal crisis rather than a big end of the world thing.
Yeah, which Jessica's shown to have more trouble with. So yeah, it thematically links her to her quite well. But Volthum gets his ring back, and he comes out and he reveals himself to the lanterns, and he's like back to sort of looking like he should look with his more human looking form.
Yeah, he actually leaves Rami because Rami's still there on the floor.
Yeah, he's sort of lying there, thing. And Simon goes to fight him, and he actually overloads Simon's ring, and his ring breaks. It's actually a really nice two-page spread.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And them screaming and like Simon holding his hand in pain is pretty cool stuff. Because obviously the framing device of this issue is that Simon, just before this, wrote a letter to his brother-in-law, apologising for not being a friend and not being around, and promising that he'd be there for his birthday, which passes as he's here, and we see like on Earth like him crumple up the letter and be like, no, he's no friend of mine anymore, and it's like it has this sad kind of undertone throughout the entire issue because that's what frames it.
Yeah, I just want to say on that page where the ring breaks, it's I think going forward we're going to have him without a ring because we get that shot where he's holding his arm and the tattoo, which I'll be honest I can't remember what it says. I'm sure it's told us at some point.
Yeah.
That lights up and it looks like the little green fragments of the ring almost go into it, and it's like maybe that'll be his ring going forward.
I'd like him to be gimped though, until he gets a ring again properly. Like. He has to cope with the fact that he can't just make constructs like he could before.
Yeah, I think it could be really interesting. It'll mean he'll have to do things differently, and it'll really change it up for him to be forced to. And it was kind of what the last arc was getting at. Like you need to try and do things differently, but I think forcing him into that situation will be interesting.
Yeah, I like that as well. I also like that because I actually immediately thought, wait, will he be able to breathe here? In the next page, it actually showed you a panel of him like holding his throat, and it's like, insufficient oxygen for human respiration, Simon's suffocating. I like that. And what I liked about after this, though, and this is probably my favourite chunk of the issue, is Volthoom tries to take control of Jessica's ring because part of the travel lantern that his power comes from is inside the ring, and it starts kind of like contradicting the actual ring, and the ring like talks back to Jessica, says, no, there's something else in here, there's like fragments of this travel lantern and it's trying to take control. But then her willpower wins, and she fights it to the point where we start getting the two different commands. Like the travel lantern says it's activating, but then we see Green Lantern ring activating, and they overlap. Like it shows that they're fighting for power and attention. But Jessica like finds the willpower and she wins. But because the travel lantern was already initiating, it sends Simon and Jessica. This is the cliffhanger at the end of this issue. It sends them somewhere, presumably back towards Volthoom's homeworld.
I'm going to say it goes to the past.
Goes to the past? Well, yeah, it could be the past as well. But...
Well, based on Tyranner, he said, it's good to see you again, my old friends. It's been so long. So I got the impression they're going to the past and they're going to have an adventure with him when he was younger.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's good catch. Yeah.
I also think it's really interesting, like, what's kept him alive? Because he's a Tamaran. We see that. That's the planet. And I didn't think they lived that long. I mean, I know... They presumably live a while, but
I think the obvious guess would just be the ring.
Yeah, it could be.
I think that'd be the obvious guess. No, that's a very good point. I wonder if that's where they'll go first, though. I feel like this next arc might be them going through time and places.
Yeah, it could be.
And I feel like because it was programmed to go to, because that's where he wanted to go. He wanted to go home. Volthoom.
Yeah, he said Earth 15, was it?
Yeah. So I feel like maybe that's even where they are at the end here, is that world doesn't exist anymore, because they look all kind of distorted and they're like being pulled in different directions and there's fragments of things. And
do you know what I do find interesting? He says, travel out and activated, and he says go to Earth 15, and she just says, ring, get me and Simon out of here. She doesn't say where.
Yeah.
So technically, if it just took her to Earth 15, it would be following the order.
Yeah, but obviously it left him behind, which is not going to please Volthoom very much.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoy it. I like him with this going. I think it feels like a big story. It feels like it's what it's been building up to since kind of just after the first arc. So for most of the year, it's been building to this story.
Yeah, that first arc, it really feels kind of redundant. I mean, we didn't really like it much at the time anyway.
Yeah.
And the problem was, it was setting up Jessica and Simon and their parent, but it didn't really, did it? It did a little bit, but we got far more of that afterwards.
Yeah, it really feels like ever since then, because that's when we introduced Rami, and everything from Rami and Volthoom has been building all year till this. This is where we've been leading to, which is cool, because it feels climatic. It feels like we're getting to the big meat of the run. Whether this is getting towards the end of the run, whether this is the start of the second full year of the run, whatever it is.
Yeah, it feels like that was Act 1 though. Like it feels like that's all right. Act 1, so Act 2 starts with the villainous reveal.
Also, the reason why I think we'll be moving around, and I get the time thing, especially since I feel like the reason why we got all those flashbacks is because they're going to meet those first 7 lanterns as a unit.
Yeah, that's why I thought when he says, "Oh, my friend," I think they're going to go back to that first 7 and
Yeah.
do stuff
Well, because
there.
they've spent the I don't know. I don't know if we've been introduced to all 7 of them, but we've definitely been introduced to at least 4 at this point. Maybe 5.
Well, we had 2 in this one.
2 in this one, and I can think of at least 2 from the
I can
last
think of
couple
2
issues.
others, yeah. So at least 4.
Yeah. So I feel like they've spent that time introducing them. It feels like that's for a reason. It's because we're going to actually meet them all as a team.
I would assume so, yeah.
So that's cool. But no, this is exciting. This is a fun.
I think it's the best issue this has had in a while. I don't get me wrong, I've been enjoying it. I think it's been solid.
Yeah.
But I think this stepped it up and went, right, this is what this is building to. Here, get excited for what can come next.